with 40. Now I got about.
I know. That's why we like it.
I've got the original transmission, the original.
Actually,
yeah. I had to do the
Did you?
altimeter.
Oh, something's in my because I use my music all the time. And the
Important resolution opposing offshore wind turbines. Yay, Cape May County. And everyone, please keep an eye on Save LBI, Defend Brigantine Beach, and Protect our Coast NJ for events that will be coming up and being planned and put into action all summer long. I only have one more thing to say, and then we start the interesting part of the program. After this event, don't stop. Keep writing. All the reps, all celebrities, get this lifted to a high-profile level, please. You can also, after this event, directly.
It belongs to the sea creatures, and we have an amazing champion in our district, a national leader on this topic, and it gives me a great honor to bring our representative, Congressman Jeff Van Drew.
I have a really big, loud voice. I think you can hear me? Okay, good. Because I have the worst luck with microphones. First of all, I want to thank all of you. You truly are doing God's work. I want you to realize that this is a very, very big deal. This is much more than you all realize, including me in the beginning. I've been dealing with this for a few years. And in the beginning I thought, okay, this is going to be innocent enough. You looked at the windmills that are over at the MUA in Atlantic County. Some of you see it by Atlantic City there, and you thought if they're going to do a little pilot program and see how it works, there's nothing wrong with that. This is a much, much bigger and much, much more difficult issue. And I don't want to keep you here all day because I know you've got your work to do out there. Number one, what you're doing is right. You have to let not only our residents know, and that education process has gone a great distance in recent time, but all those people who have second homes down here. Those are huge investments to them. This is the ocean that they love. This is the Cape May County and actually the Jersey Shore that they love. Atlantic County is getting involved now for sure. Ocean County is very involved. Monmouth County is really starting to get involved. Certainly Cape May County is on the cutting edge. Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Why is it such a big deal? Look at the breadth and the size of this project. And I'm not going to exaggerate because every time I say it, it's hard for me to believe. It is going to cover millions of acres of ocean. Not thousands, not hundreds, millions of acres of ocean. And it is going to be not windmills that are small and unobtrusive. These things are going to be over 1,000 feet high with lights on top of them. It's going to make it difficult for navigation. It's going to make it difficult for the sea creatures, obviously, that we've spoken about, and that originally it was almost biblical because a lot of folks were talking about this, but it really didn't truly catch on until, God help them, those whales washed ashore and those dolphins washed ashore, and then people realized that something was wrong. And by the way, don't let Bohm, NOAA, or Orsted, or Atlantic Shores tell any of you, oh, one has nothing to do with the other. They're just all of a sudden bumping into boats. Well, if they are bumping into boats, it's because they can't hear right because of all.
Yes!
And don't let them tell you it's coincidental. Don't let them tell you it happened by accident, that it has nothing to do when they started their testing and their work under the ocean. It is not coincidental, it's for real. So think about what this is going to be like. And it is the industrialization of our ocean and of our shore. And what's it going to be like? Eventually, thousands and thousands of these windmills. Eventually, no fishing. In UK and other areas in Europe, check it out. It's all fake. You can fact check Every single thing I say, they've stopped fishing in most of the areas. They can't fish there anymore. We're going to destroy our fishing industry. We're going to hurt our tourism industry. We're going to hurt our real estate industry. We are going to make it so difficult for all the businesses that have always survived to go into the future and continuing what we have. Besides, which we know already so obvious to us, the environmental issues. It's important that when you explain this to people, that you only don't just discuss the fact that we are ruining our wildlife and our ocean. That is important. But it's also important that you explain to them that it represents jobs. And you know, I thought it was so arrogant. Ørsted is a very arrogant corporation that is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. All our energy was, not all, much of our energy will be controlled by foreign countries. That's an issue that people have to know. Again, our tourism is going to get hurt. They estimate, just in Cape May County alone, not my estimate. It's Ørsted who said this. They said it's not going to be that big a deal. It should come to about $1 billion a year. Not that big a deal. Now, if Ørsted said it's $1 billion, what the hell is it really? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
5.
There's nothing good about this. And you know what's even worse? It's not going to do everything or anything of what they said. It's not going to stop the environmental problems we have. It's not going to stop the carbon footprint. There are ways of going about this. And by the way, it's not going to really, in any significant way, and even NOAA and BOEM have said there will be no significant change due to these on our carbon footprint. So what are we doing? We're just spoiling our environment. We're hurting our fishing industry. We're hurting our tourism industry. We're killing our wonderful whales and dolphins. Why? Because a lot of people are going to make a lot of money. That's why. Whenever you don't understand something, sure. Whenever you don't understand something, why you think it happened, always look for the buck. Always look to see, follow the money, man. Smell the money. See where it goes, and you'll understand it. This is really, really wrong. And we are really on the right side of history. Yes, there are many good things we can do to help with climate change. I've spoken to people about different approaches. One of the things that they've even spoken about, which they're doing now in Europe, because Europe already failed with this, clean nuclear, small nuclear, zero carbon footprint. Zero carbon footprint.
Yeah.
By the way, what are we going to do with the blades? Anybody got? They're not recyclable. And what are we going to do in 15, 20 years when these things are no good? What are we going to do if we get a bad hurricane or a bad storm? Because they've never endured a storm like that. They don't get the kind of hurricanes in Europe that we get here. They haven't studied it enough. They haven't looked at it enough. They're going too big, too fast, and they are destroying our shore. This is for them.
That's right.
So I really, truly am thankful for what you're doing because it's making a huge difference. We have to go out, we have to talk to people, we have to be relentless, we need rallies. What are we doing? So we had our first congressional hearing actually right here in South Jersey, as you know. It was full of information and really got things going. The freeholders have been great. Freeholders, God, am I dating myself? The commissioners have been great in that valley. They've done a very thorough, very strong resolution. We need that everywhere. I want to see the same thing from Ocean County and Atlantic County and other areas. We're going to have more hearings. So I've spoken to leadership in what was a very intense conversation, to be honest with you, because initially in Congress they were a little bit hesitant about getting involved. They're going to be involved now. The Natural Resources Committee is taking this up. I'm working with the chairman. We've already gone to the regulatory agencies asking more explanations. We are going to have another hearing This one is going to be into Washington. And we're going to bring people there who step by step are going to explain how dangerous this is and how wrong it is and how we cannot allow it to happen. So at every level, we're doing everything that we know how to do. And it's still going to be a tough fight. Can I guarantee we're going to win this thing? No. I think we got a real shot, though, much more than we ever did.
Woo! Yes, indeed. Thank you.
We've got to delay them. We've got to stop them. We've got to twist them up. We've got to tell the truth about what they're doing. And my God, Ocean City. And you know what? I'm glad, because I didn't want to forget this. Think about what our system is based on. So in Ocean City, they voted that they didn't want these underground cables. And they didn't want this all actually tied together in Ocean City. And so what do we do in New Jersey? And what does a powerful corporation do? They go to the politicians. I know I'm one of them, but they wouldn't go to me. They go to the politicians and they pass a bill in the State House that says Ocean City no longer has control of its own zoning. Of its own future. Steve Sweeney leading the charge before he got booted out of office, but leading the charge. And it essentially says, in plain English, when it comes to windmills, your zoning doesn't matter, and the company and the state can do whatever they want.
Boo!
So I think that's unconstitutional.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think it's wrong, and I think it's immoral. So right now, Ocean City, I believe, and we have one of our councilmen here. Two of our councilmen. You guys are in court, correct? Correct. And so Ocean City's doing its job. They're in court. They're fighting. It's real simple. We don't want it. It's not going to do any good. It's not going to fix the problem. It's going to hurt the environment. It's going to hurt business. It's going to hurt, by the way, I didn't even mention the birds. Have you seen the eviscerated eagles? Have you seen what they've done? Have you read, this is all scientific stuff, not made up, of what it's going to do to the ocean itself, and it's actually going to warm the ocean up because these things are going to be spinning all the time, and because of the energy that they're going to create, but not the energy, I mean, that goes to our power, the energy they're going to create right out of the ocean. It's just bad stuff. Tell me something good. Fisheries. Just tell me anything good. And by the way, the national fisheries just came out and said it's the wrong thing to do. And it was a bad thing.
Yay! Woo!
So this is a race. It's a race to the finish. Who's going to be tougher? Who's going to be stronger? Who's going to fight harder? Is it going to be the money of Ørsted and Atlantic Shores and these other ones located all outside the United States of America, controlling our energy? Or is it going to be the American people? And is it going to be the Jersey Shore?
The people! The people!
Are we going to win?
Yes!
Are we going to win?
Yes!
Are we going to win?
You bet!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. And I want to recognize our we have two council members here today, Tom Rotundi.
Woo! Yay, Tom!
Thank
Yay!
you for all of what you're doing on the council to fight on behalf of the ocean ecosystem. It's amazing to me growing up and watching Jacques Cousteau and reading works by Rachel Carson, and they'd be turning over in their graves to know what's going on out there. This is not a petri dish and it's not a green project. It's not sustainable in any way, shape, or form. I wanted to just quickly read a quote that I pulled up today. One of my favorite phrases is, "If you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything." And people here are a testament to you're standing up for this. We're standing up against it. I mean, it's all about the kids, and it's all about their future. And we're going to destroy their future if we don't do something about it right now. And thank God you're all here. But this This is a quote from Rachel Carson. "It is a curious situation that the sea from which life first arose should now be threatened by the activities of one form of that life. But the sea, though changed in a sinister way, will continue to exist. The threat is rather to life itself." That's what's going on. And on this Memorial Day, another quote struck me and struck a chord, especially after hearing our congressman speak, was the passengers on Flight 93 when they said, "Let's roll. Let's roll and teach people about what's going on, because we need to educate the people that are coming across that bridge today and get them talking and get them interested, because without them we're not going to be able to end this devious project. It's going to be a disaster if it ever gets built. So next I'd like to introduce
Rich.
Oh yeah, one more thing.
One quick thing, it really is, if you need signs, we have that wonderful printer who's doing a great job. Great signs, they're really artistic. We have signs, they're for free. And we also have flags if you need them.
Okay.
Call our office, Ron Filan is here. He'd be glad to help with that. I know I forgot something.
That's awesome. Do we have any other elected officials here from the county commissioners? Just raise your hand, or just don't want to leave anybody out. Okay.
Rich.
Rich. Can't miss Rich. Rich is at every event. Thank you for coming and for, again, being a champion for this. Here you go.
Thank you very much. My name is Rich Barely, and who am I? I'm a passionate individual that the group recognized to maybe let me speak. And what I do, I go to event after event after event to learn the truth of what's going on within wind energy and not believe in what's being said to us by the media. And that's the only way you're going to begin to learn of what's going on, is to go out to events. I learned last weekend that the U.S. Bureau of Ocean Management rushing through approvals for 25 projects along the East Coast, and close to 3,000 to 4,000 windmills are projected to go up and down the East Coast. New Jersey alone has 357 windmills from Long Beach Island to Cape May that are earmarked to invade our Jersey shore. What do we say to that? No! No! They're talking about 9,000 miles of cable emitting dangerous EMFs buried in our ocean floor, digging it up and ruining our fishing industry, the pleasure industry that I do, and the commercial industry, ruined. These windmills aren't going to be 45 miles, 50 miles offshore. They're going to be right out front here, 9 miles offshore, lit up at night, 1,000 feet in height. Is that what we want to see in our Jersey shore?
No!
Is that what we're going to permit them to do on our Jersey shore?
Nope.
We need to step up and fight back. There's Orsted, Wind One, Ocean Shores. These are all the groups that are invading our shores. They're foreign countries that are going to own the rights to our electricity. Our Congressman Van Drew standing here has the courage and the power and the conviction to represent us. I'm not talking Democrat or Republican. He happens to be a Republican, and he happens to be a champion fighter for us.
Yes.
Relentlessly. Recently, correct me if I'm wrong, Congressman, that the Pentagon came out about the security of our nation that is in jeopardy if these go in. Is that correct?
That is correct. There's so many things I can't even there are so many things you can't even remember all of them, and Rich, you're exactly right. The Pentagon just did come out, and I'm sure the administration didn't like it, and said they have serious safety concerns for the country because of what these will do. Remember, just as the Pentagon said that, the Coast Guard, even though they have a huge amount of pressure on them, and it's very hard for them to speak out. And by the way, notice how PSC&G dropped out of this project. We're going to find out more about that. And that's not PSC&G's fault. It's this company they're dealing with. But the Pentagon said it's a real danger and a real concern. The Coast Guard's concerned. It interferes with the radar. It interferes with trying to find ships that are lost, boats that have problems, etc.
Thank you, Congressman. Our Jersey Shore and the entire coast is under attack, like I had mentioned. These windmills don't even make economic sense. You have alternatives that the Congressman mentioned, nuclear power that is zero emissions, and various other sources there. I have a video that was by a gentleman who spoke last week, and PowerPoint presentations. There are clipboards going around. If you could sign up with your email and your phone number so that we can send you this. What you need to do is get the message through the legislation, through the senators and the assembly people, to Governor Murphy. We are not going to sit down and take this. We're going to fight it until it's stopped. We need to shout our voices loud and clear. You need to reach out. The congressman has elevated from all levels of government, and I know he's going to admit, when you hear from a lot of people, you begin to listen. And even if you're in the party that voted for it, if you're hearing from 1,000, 2,000 people about this issue, about the truth, you're going to begin to say, wow, what am I doing? I don't care what party I am. I'm in. The right thing is to shut down the windmills and shut them down now. If we don't, in the conclusion, if we don't stand up and fight for the ocean, our whales, and our dolphins, then the people who died for the freedom of this very weekend, Memorial Day weekend, would have died in vain. Because we fought wars overseas, and now we gotta fight a war right here in our backyard.
Yes, we do. Well said.
In conclusion, this is not a spectator sport. The only way we're going to change it is to get you and you and you and you and me involved. I call in radio stations all the time. I don't know if you hear me or not. My son is out here. Unfortunately, he hears me every time because he sits right across from my desk. But it's important. That's free. The radio, 1400 radio, 1450 in the morning and throughout the day. Call in. Voice your opinion on there, because that's what's going to get us from 100 people out today to 1,000 people. Because there is momentum right now. We heard it from the congressman with the commissioners in Cape May County. I saw on the internet there's signs leading into every town. So the message is going out. And once the people learn the truth, they're going to jump on board on our bandwagon. So let's not let the people die in vain that fought for our freedom. Let's show them how tough we are, and we're going to stop windmills and stop it now.
So, when we're staying in this park, I mean, one of the things that I've noticed, unfortunately, going to the site of some of to see some of the whales that washed up on shore, these whales would fill this park many times over, and the dolphins in the prime of life dying and washing up on our shores. And then that's probably only about 10% of the whales and dolphins that are actually dying, because most of them don't wash up on shore. There are people who say this project's green. The problem is that there's no such thing as a free lunch. You can't create something out of nothing. While we're getting New Jersey wants a smaller carbon footprint, we're poisoning the water, the air, and the soil in places that overseas where people don't really have a voice. People of color in places like Mongolia and Bolivia and Ecuador for the rare earth minerals that need to be mined to make these hideous windmills a reality, and also to power the lithium batteries in people's Teslas. Educate people. We've got to educate people, and thank God again that we have so many great champions in Congress, but also in Trenton, believe it or not. We have amazing local representatives. Assemblyman Simonson has joined us. I'd like to invite him up to say a couple of words. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't always dress like this, so excuse me. A long ride from Cape May up here. Listen, we've said it before. I know the congressman, myself, Senator Testa, Assemblyman McClellan, they're at other places. We're all over today, different events. And not only that, but our Assemblyman Guardian, Assemblywoman Swift, and Senator Palestina from Legislative District 2 as well. You know, we're here for you guys. We're here for our sea life. And as someone who grew up down here my whole life, you know, anytime you're dumping 4 acres of rock around each base of these windmills is not a good thing for our ocean. We're running electric cables under the ocean floor, putting cement blankets over top of them, and not to mention the hazards it causes with the drilling, and like we talked about the sonar, but you know, we've lost bats, birds, rays, all these other types of wildlife, not to mention that our biggest source in our district down here is commercial fishing. And when you can't drag fish and you can't put food on the table for our commercial fishermen, it's not only our ecosystem that suffers, but it's our economic system that suffers. And also, I was just in Denmark last year. There are landfill after landfill of these turbines that are non-recyclable. So when they tell you that it's green energy, okay, ask them how much money they got in their pocket, because it's nonsense. And that's what continues to happen. You know, Congressman Van Drew and I could go out and lobby for these windmills and probably get a lot of money in our campaign accounts. Totally. Good. But that's not what we're about. He hasn't been about that for the last few decades that he's been working for us down here, regardless of the side of the aisle he's been on. And we continue to fight for what's right in the real South Jersey, because we love where we live and we want to keep it the way it is. And it just doesn't make sense when you're putting hundreds of these structures out in the ocean that they think it's not going to harm the ecosystem. And, you know, I could care less about what it looks like, but I care about what it does to our ecosystem, what it does to the infrastructure of our ocean floors, and all the things that we've talked about. So keep fighting the good fight. God bless you all. Stay safe. Remember what Memorial Day is all about, and Godspeed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next guest, I'd like to introduce, this is Bicycle Day, by the way. I forgot to wear my bicycle outfit, but Dan Klein, host of the Dan Klein Show on WOND Radio.
Thanks very much. And the Assemblyman, he passed me on the way up. I came up from 52nd Street. And so I'm running a little bit behind. Folks, I'm not going to take a lot of time. First of all, thanks to everybody for coming out here on Memorial Day weekend. I can tell you firsthand, but I don't even have to tell you. I'm sure everybody here knows you're getting pulled in 15 different directions today. So to be here illustrates how important this is. Ben Franklin, when he was making a decision about something, would put a line on a piece of paper. On one side, he'd say reasons for, and on the other side, ideas against. And on the reasons for this offshore wind turbine project, Congressman, maybe you can help me out, or maybe somebody here in the audience can help me out. I can't come up with any reason for it. Is there any reason to do this? Let me explain to you what I mean. We're going to decimate our offshore eastern seaboard. We're going to decimate our fishing. We could potentially ruin marine life all along the eastern seaboard. The view, by the way, of course, from my perspective, is at the bottom of the list. If they came to us and said, hey, we had this idea, and it's going to be very disruptive. There could be a lot of problems, but when it's all done, your electric bill is going to be almost nothing or whatever. There was some upside to it where you could go, fine, maybe, whatever. There's no upside, folks. I can't see any upside, and we're going to let them decimate the eastern seaboard of not just Ocean City, the entire New Jersey coast. It doesn't make any sense. Somebody, it's a big money, I don't know who, what, where, why, or whatever. You know what they say, follow the money. But thanks to everybody for coming out. It's not done yet, and we can stop it. That's all I can say.
Thanks so much, Dan. And your colleague on the radio, Ann Baker, is here. She wants to say a couple words.
All right, Ann.
Good morning, everybody. I love the fact that we have this many. Love the fact that we have this many people, but we should have 1,000. We should have thousands of people here. But people don't know. I hear from people who live on the island, and I say, "Are you going to come to the rally? You're going to speak up about the windmills, the wind turbines?"
I don't know.
Nada. They don't know. So we have to speak up. We have to have our voices heard. And if you don't talk about it, perhaps no one will know about it, even in your small circle of friends. Sometimes we're afraid to speak because of the woke culture. You know, we want the Green New Deal. You don't know what the Green New Deal is.
Right.
When you consider that the making of a wind turbine and the CO2 produced in the making of all the components of a wind turbine, the CO2 produced is almost the same as the CO2 they're telling you they're going to save over 20 freaking years. If you don't think that's not important, it's a zero net. No one profits but the Green New Deal industry and the politicians who are bought and paid for by these industries. You let your legislators know. We have the best legislator here. But if you don't let your legislators know, from wherever you live, how bad this Green New Deal is, that fossil fuels, first day Biden's in office, signs off, stop the pipeline. Are you kidding me? Innovation needs to take place so we do use less fossil fuels, always. But let the innovation take place by those entrepreneurs, by those brilliant young engineers that are out there in school today, and they're looking at this project and they're saying, gee, what's the positive? There is none right now. It's zero net. Nobody profits, nobody loses. Oh yeah, we're going to lose our ocean. Remember that. If you love your ocean and your beach, you like to eat seafood, food insecurity, anybody? They're going to destroy our crustaceans. How's that for, I mean, no fishing industry anymore in South Jersey. Anyway, I'm taking up too much of your time, honestly. I love the fact that you're all here, but please, as Adina Menzel has said in her songs, let your voices be heard.
Yay!
Thanks, Ann. That was wonderful. By the way, make sure you post everything from today and here forward on social media. Get the word out. I've been told that the Protect Our Coast Change.org petition has passed 600,000 signatures. We want to get to 1 million. We want to get to 10 million. We got to get people across the country to notice what's going on. I was just in Florida. People in Florida are more educated about what's going on off the Jersey coast than people in Jersey are. That's ridiculous. Go to Protect Our Coast Facebook. On there's a number. Save LBI, Defend Brigantine. Obviously, follow our congressman's social media. He's active as well. So next, I believe Doug has
George.
Oh, George. Here you go.
Morning, everybody.
feel a little embarrassed following the group of people who just spoke here. I'm just a local Joe from Ocean City who cares about his Constitution and likes to stand up for what's right. I'm glad everybody was here, all the constituents were here.
Go, George.
Thank you. Well, it's a great turnout today. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Remember, all of you are here today because you want to make a difference. You're taking part in your right to peaceful noncompliance. Peaceful noncompliance is not breaking the law. Peaceful noncompliance is what we, the people, engage in when government breaks the law. Our congressmen and elected officials want to put a halt on the wind turbine project until we get concrete causes for all the sudden and unexpected whale deaths. Is this because there's sonar disruption due to Ørsted ocean floor surveying? Is it because of climate change, as they say? I am for the timeout on the project until all questions are sufficiently answered. However, in my opinion, it's a lot more than that, and I believe the turbine project should be terminated.
Yeah.
Here's why. Greed, power, control. 1. New Jersey governor and the BPU overstepped. In 2018, the governor signed legislation to ban offshore oil drilling, but he's now all in on the wind turbine project 5 years later. In fact, rushing the process. Why the change now? The governor took the New Jersey home rule power from our community leaders and gave it to the New Jersey BPU. The Murphy administration overrode local zoning regulations by granting the Board of Public Utilities authority to supersede local government power. All the power is given to the BPU to make decisions for us ratepayers on this project. It's alarming to watch the BPU monthly meetings live on YouTube, determining the direction of the wind turbine projects. As far as I can tell, there are 4 members making and voting on amendments on our We the People behalf with 0 pushback. Public feedback is none during the meetings. These 4 members that we see voting online are backed by the governor. Since when does 4 make a quorum? Unless I'm missing something. This is just one of the heads of the snakes in regards to this project's opposition. This is not talked about, the BPU. These wind turbines we're dealing with are a foreign entity, not our local American utility companies the BPU deals with on a daily basis. Are these turbine companies renegotiating their contracts? Are they going to ask for new subsidies to builders who have won contracts to build offshore wind farms? There's a lot of red flags waiting to be answered by the BPU. Geologist Ian Pilmer said it perfectly. Wind power is one of the biggest scams to exist. Wind turbines is the greatest investment because when the wind does not blow, you get paid. Subsidies. At times, when the wind is too strong, you're asked to turn it off, and you still get paid to do that. One of the biggest scams that ever existed. It's a transfer of money from we the people to the wealthy. By the way, wait until you see your electric bill, and wait for eminent domain to show its corrupt head. It's coming. EMF in the wind turbines. From the Fisherman magazine, a 388-page report listed many concerns ocean winds will bring to U.S. fisheries and the ocean environment. Electromagnetic force emitting around the high-power undersea turbine cables that can change fish behavior. Not climate change, as the DEP would like you to believe. From synthesis of science reports, it's unclear the impact that the EMF cable will have. However, it's making fishermen concerned about the EMF impacts on fish inshore, offshore migration, especially on those fish that live and feed near the ocean bottom, near these cables, like flounder. Let it be known, any impacts of EMF may result in negative social economic impact of the fishing industry. Yep. Climate change. This is one of my pet peeves. This is the outspoken reason for these quick rush to place the wind turbines on our shores as fast as possible. Is it really climate change, or is it the climate changers, the climate engineering? Let me explain. This is happening in our skies, on Mother Earth, to us, every day. Ultra-low frequencies in our atmosphere. These frequencies are detected by infrasound instruments. They are so low-pitched
They're inaudible to human ears. This hidden low frequencies are included in ocean waves, even turbines. Is this what's hurting our whale sonar? Cloud seeding, grid patterns sprayed in our skies one day, clear the next. Lethal toxic polymer fibers and graphene in our atmosphere used by biological carrier platforms, also known as carrying a pathogen from the clouds to the ground. These pathogens are in skies, soil, oceans, food, or bodies. Ken Calder, former U.S. Department of Defense employee, now working with Bill Gates, designing methods of spraying pathogens into the clouds to affect the population below. That's us. PFASs, forever chemicals, or, big word here, polyfluoroalkyl substances are found in water, air, fish, soil, drinking water, foods. It's everywhere. Every single drop of rain is contaminated with PFASs. Ocean temperature is engineered. Toxifying precipitation, man-made, is killing our forests, grasslands, and everything in between. Ocean O2 is declining, manipulated. Search the word Dead Seas and climate engineering, if you're unaware. Climate engineering is not talked about. Climate change is the rhetoric to strengthen the powerful, breed power and control. Clean energy is an oxymoron. Current renewable energy forms are just a little more than carbon fossil fuel extenders. Green energy, sound familiar? Greed. In closing, we have questions that must be answered before this wind turbine project moves forward. However, the big business, banks, government push for these wind turbines because they say it's a climate change fix. It's green. It's the first question you should question. The powerful want control, including blaming climate change for whales' death, never admitting climate engineering is manipulating our weather, our entire ecosystem. LBJ said, "He who controls the weather will control the world." They are killing our crops, livestock, polluting our oceans with toxic pathogens, altering our food supply. It was said, control the food, you control the people. And that's where we're at. We the people are the change. We the people have the power. The moment you realize this, we will make a difference. Let's question everything. Put a moratorium on this wind turbine project. Pushing toward defeating this project in its entirety. That should be the ultimate goal. Thank you for listening. Thank you for choosing sovereignty over submission. Thanks again.
Stop those wind turbines, right folks? Stop them! Stop those wind turbines! Right? Cheer! Woo! Stop those wind turbines!
No turbine. No turbine. Okay.
Signs up. All right, here I come. Say, now, all right.
I already got these guys.
Thank you.
I know I already got you, but thank you anyway.
Save our ocean! Smile.
Gabriel. That's Anson.
Where?
Right there. Talking to Rich.
Oh, is it? Are you Gabriel? All right.